Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sins and Consequences, a Blades in the Dark actual play podcast presented by Dragon's Greed Gaming. What do we got going on? Well, right now you're probably listening to some tunes written by the one, the only Sydney Fable. Thank you again, as always, for providing us your awesome music and your wonderful talents. If you're into the music, you can check it out. Give it a listen, give it a download over at YouTube. Just search for Cindy Fable or click on the link in the description below. You can also check out their glam rock band, the Blam Blams, which last I checked actually do still tour from time to time. So if you're local to the area that they're in, go ahead and check them out. What else do we got going on? I'll take a moment. Adam and I have been working on some stuff over on another channel. It's all Shadowrun content with various Shadowrun creators and other podcast performers and cast and things like that. It's a thing called the Fixer Files. Has its own feed. Some of the episodes might drop on the Dragon's Greed feed, but we have Sean from Dragon's Greed Gaming over there, Adam, myself. We also have the guys from Pride Against Prejudice, As the Sixth World Turns, and Shadow Running on Empty, and I feel so bad because it's actually like the most popular show out there, and I always forget the name of it. But Dr. Friendship, who is also the host of Shadowrun on Empty, has another podcast as well that's much more popular than ours, and I feel bad for not remembering it. But yes, we all kind of work together on that. So we do have some episodes already dropped. I think I'm on one of them. I know Adam's on 2 or 3 of them already. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. I'll drop a link for that in the description if I can. I gotta talk to Chris about that, see if he remembers. What else do we got going on? Ethan, what else do we have going on?
Specific to we have the con coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, actually, so by the time this episode drops, likely I will be at Gen Con.
Oh, that's soon, eh?
Yeah.
Like
so
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it starts on July 31st and goes until I think the 3rd or the 4th. And I will be there. I'll be there all 4 days. I'm running games on the Friday and the Saturday. So hopefully you already got tickets because they sold out. If they didn't and you see me around, I'm the very, very tall guy who's probably walking around looking a little bit anxious, but also somehow gregarious. That's kind of my deal.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I look both very and completely unapproachable. Like, I look very approachable, but also completely unapproachable. That's just
Which means you get approached a lot. That's the thing. When it's both, it's you get approached, but they're really uncertain about it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
is
most
this right?
conversations. Is this the right thing for me to do? I'm just gonna ask, how tall are you? Do you play basketball?
I just need to know these things about you who I
It's
don't
like,
know. Also, what's your name? Like,
Yeah, no one asked me what my name is. They asked me how tall I am and if I play basketball. Actually, today I had a conversation with an older gentleman that I got trapped in because he was a little bit slow speaking, just because, you know, he's clearly a very old man and he just is taking his time. And it's just one of those moments where I'm like, I bet you this man has a lot of people just abruptly end conversations and walk away while he tries to talk to them. I'm going to give him a little bit of my time. And so he told me that I would make a very good slow pitch, like a slow pitch baseball pitcher, because all of the best slow pitch pitchers happen to be about 6'8" or taller. So
he's got that reach.
yeah, so I gotta stop doing what I'm doing and go and do that now. That's what he thinks. Today we do not have Adam. Adam has abandoned us. He probably told us why he's not here, but I forget why, and so I assume that it's probably because he hates us. And so yeah, Adam can go fuck himself. And also we have the best 3 players of the regular crew. We have CJ, Dio, and Ethan. And I'm going to start with Ethan. Ethan, go ahead and tell me about your week. or whatever you think
I
got
want to
going on.
say, Adam, I don't share Aaron's opinions. I really do appreciate the input that you have into this group.
Suck up.
And as someone who's going to be listening to this tomorrow, I'm assuming, I think you're a great guy. But yeah, my got to put that in there. You know, get favor wherever you can. My day's been interesting. Yeah, we'll just take that out, right? Yeah. So I woke up and my light in my living room was leaking. So that was a new one. I haven't had that before. I've had ceiling leaks, but I haven't had like just from the light itself. And it's one of those those flat lights that are like pretty, you know, match up to the ceiling itself, and it just had like a bit of a water pattern, and I could like touch it and it moved around. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I'm like, I wonder if the lights still work. And so being a dummy, I'm just like and clicked it on, and I'm like, oh, it does. Well, it sort of does. And then the fuse went immediately. I'm like, oops, that was stupid. But yeah, no, that anyway, one of the joys again of renting and not owning a house, someone else came. Though the plumber came for the 4th time, they looked at it and they came back like an hour later after going up to other units, and they came back in and went, I still don't know. Are you okay if I come in on Monday and just like cut open your ceiling and take a look? And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like I don't really own the place. Like, you do whatever you want. And so I guess I'm gonna have to deal with some of that work going on. But no, it's been interesting the past few weeks dealing with all those types of problems. So that's been my day-to-day. And I'm getting ready to move. So there's also that. There's all these problems going on with this apartment. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm gone in like 14 days. So like, you know, there's almost an amount of like, you know, yeah, you can fix this, or you can fix this in 2 weeks when I'm not here. That'd be great. But yeah, today, this session, I'm going to be playing probably mostly Vay Helker. Vay's a spider. He goes in, he plans things, he consorts and sways and talks with people, and likes, I don't know, recently got into a bit of a scenario where he now has a countdown timer for what seems to be the end of his life. So we're going to see how that progresses and what goes forward. And then might be playing a little bit of Drillbit, the French automaton who likes to do crime and hates the government. Yeah, it's all over from my side. Pass back over.
The robot truly does represent us.
Yes. Yeah. Give him some socialist ideals, and he'll be perfect. CJ, how's things going with you?
I'm in the medicine merry-go-round of trying to fix up my body. I've had aches and pains for a while. It's like, okay, we finally got your medicine. And I was like, oh, I think it's kind of helping, but it's also making a new problem. So that's always fun.
That's rough.
Just do what I did and work at a hospital and at an airport. Get the whole petri dish like conditioning.
Oh yeah. So you're not feeling super well, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, you'll be playing. I don't know. Are you playing Myri or Shielda today?
Well, I think it's gonna be mostly Myri. She did start off making that little keg bomb thing.
Mm-hmm.
As we might see, Shiova might have a purpose, considering we just set off a whole bunch of ghosts. Who knows? We got 2 options, 2 lovely ladies. I don't know who's gonna pop up.
That's fair. And we got second to last, but not least, we have Dio. Dio, you were showing some cool pictures in the Discord today. Guys, if you haven't signed up for the Discord and you're listening to this, you suck. Go and sign up for the Discord. Yeah, you can search for Dragon's Creek Gaming on Discord and it will show up. I believe the description, or there's a link in the description as well, or it's on our Facebook page. You can check out the Facebook page if you're cool, guys.
And if you want to scroll long enough, you get to see some taxidermy pictures that I got to take, because I went to the Curiosities and Oddities Expo in Chicago. It was a blast. We got to see a bunch of things, believe in formaldehyde. I don't know what they use to keep everything all nice and preserved, I guess. But
Could be vinegar.
Yeah.
Good old pickling.
got myself a nice patch for Mothman, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, amongst a few other things, like some halberd earrings. These are my favorite finds. Hey.
Those are pretty metal.
I just wish I could just like take them off and they could grow in. It would be like a magical weapon halberd that just pops off and becomes a real halberd. A person could dream, you know.
Person could dream.
But I'm going to be playing Albatross today, who is still pretty stressed out despite all that has happened, and just hasn't been lucky with his demon hunting. Well, I mean, he was lucky, just might not be lucky with the consequences after.
Yes. You selfishly, you kept all of the demon meat to yourself. Cruel man.
Selfish
To some, I mean, very well earned for him. Given...
And then you opened up to Lord Skurlock about it, and he was not happy.
He threw a marble table at your head.
Nobody loves me.
This is sins and consequences. This is not joy and good times.
This is in Sesame Street. What the fuck?
On the wrong street, motherfucker.
Sorry, I gotta ask. I know Ethan's seen it, but have either of you seen Avenue Q?
Avenue Q.
That's the
like
musical,
the Broadway.
right?
Yeah.
I've only seen like clips from it.
They do The Internet is for Porn, that song.
Oh, the internet is for porn.
That's the most famous song.
I thought the internet, everyone's a little bit racist one. I thought that was their most.
That was the first thing I'm saying.
I saw that with my father and stepmother the first time they met my now wife, and so that
I was also there for that.
Yeah,
I don't know why I was, but I was there.
That's a great show.
It is. It was. Like, that was like a moment that I absolutely probably shouldn't have been there for, because it was a very important moment in yours and your wife's relationship. But I got to see Avenue Q, and so I was also there.
Yeah.
Third wheeling like a fucking champ. Speaking of third wheeling, it's me, Aaron, also known as Poultrygeist. Not actually. I'm not very famous on the internet. I don't think people know who Poultrygeist is yet. They might know the film, though, which I did watch. I've actually watched it about a month ago. I've been waiting to talk about it. The film Poultrygeist, I assumed would have been like one of those really bad horror movies that you might like, or it has like a bit of a niche group. No, that is a legitimately hilarious film. And like everyone needs to watch the film Poultrygeist.
Is it dead chickens?
No, it's a ghost chicken. It's like, I mean, I guess the chicken's dead. That's why it's a ghost, but it's one chicken and it's dead.
Only one.
Only one.
Yeah.
I would have thought more just with how powerful a chicken is, you know?
I love
Legend of Zelda Swarm of ghost chickens.
Oh no, it looks like the robot chicken. Like, I'm looking at the cover for this plate. Yeah, it's just a chicken, like the chicken from like Robot Chicken coming out of like some dude's skull. There's like a chicken wing coming out of his eye.
Is it just like Leprechaun, but it's a chicken instead?
It's kind of from that era. I don't know if I would say that the plots are similar. I've seen both movies, but yeah. Speaking of funny, I was talking about it with Ethan before the show, but I did just finally watch Last One Laughing. Like specifically the one that was made in Canada, that had Colin Mockery and Tom Green as two of the contestants, and it was pretty great. Those are the most recognizable names, but there was a lot of funny people in that. It was probably one of the most absurd things I've ever seen, and so listeners, I highly recommend that you check it out, if only to just understand what like a typical day in Canada is like, and to enjoy some delicious cheese sandwiches, which if you've seen it, you would enjoy that comment. What else do I got going on? No, I think that's it. I'm just gonna play some Blades in the Dark now. I don't remember what else I was gonna say. So last week we were kind of polishing up some downtime. We were establishing what we might want to do for our next score. You guys decided that you wanted to go and get that pesky artifact out of Charterhall. Specifically, it's in the It's in the foundation and the Sparkwright Tower in Charterhall, which if we go to the map, I'm going to force you guys to go here if I can.
The GM powers where you update our browser experience.
Yes. So yes, I have made some things on here. I have put some handy little circles on the exits and bridges that lead out of the district, or the main bridges that lead out of the district, as well as the location of the city watch of Duskfall, which is actually the headquarters of. Yes, do.
So, I get a thing that
I
says
see darkness.
You do not own. I gotta reload it again. You do not own any token with vision in this scene.
Oh my god! I hate that I have to set that setting every time. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, now it's a very clearly detailed map with circles representing bridges leaving
the district. There's also a circle here that represents that is the Blue Coats headquarters.
Oh.
Blue Coats. So like that is of the entire city. So this is like probably the most protected area in the city by the Blue Coats. I also kind of drew like a map that you guys would recognize or know, or at least your characters would know, that that's the most likely route that they would take if they were going on foot to leave the district. Starting from this little haphazardly circled area here, that is the Lightning Tower, or the Sparkwright Tower is what it's called. And so you guys will have an idea of where they would like to go. We did do some setup, and we did our engagement roll last week. So the setup was, of course, as CJ mentioned earlier, Myri has built some sort of ward inside of like a keg that got transported inside the building, as well as Adam's character Marv has set up a blockade, which you guys can kind of put wherever you think would make sense in the moment. And so we're not really going to play with this character, but we're going to allow his character to show up and kind of block the path wherever you see fit at any point in time. What else do we got going on? I think I described, you guys rolled a partial success, meaning that you started out in a risky position when the action starts, and I described this this keg as it's sitting inside, and we kind of like go in through like a little crack in the barrel, and we see that inside there's like a mechanism that's moving these runes on the inside until they all kind of line up, tick tick tick, and then they go off. I also said that they didn't manage to make it all the way to the third floor because there seemed to be some commotion to the fourth floor, which is where you intended for it to be put. It got stopped on the third floor, which is the residences of most of the students that lived there. Myri, this is likely where you attended college, by the way, this building. So you have a pretty good insight into what the inside of this building will look like. This is deceptively small on the map, but it is actually quite large. This is a probably, I don't want to get into sizes because I'll say something ridiculous and it'll be way too big or way too small because I don't know my numbers. I don't do numeracy very well, but it's a very large building, the kind of building you can imagine like several classrooms being inside of. It is also 5 stories tall. And then on top of it is a giant lightning rod that is constantly drawing power from the surrounding lightning barrier. As this device goes off, we kind of inside the tower, we see groups of students starting to be unruly and arguing with like a frail looking middle-aged woman wearing a pair of pince nezes, those like tiny little glasses that don't have arms, and she just seems exhausted, like she's been doing this for hours. But then in the background, as these students are arguing with her, we just hear the sounds of like screaming out of rage, And suddenly, bursting forth through the walls are these spirits. The spirits that you guys had worked with Skurlock to capture in his attic have been summoned to this location.
Oh, I forgot we did that. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
we
that's
did
what
that.
the bomb was. Yeah.
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 And so you drew
Was
forth
that
some of the most powerful and most violent spirits in the city into this room, and chaos consumes the building in an instant. This woman with the pinched snezzes slams the door as a couple spirits break in there, and you just hear screams behind it as the students are presumably mauled by spirits. She pulls out a lightning hook and starts working her way through, where she meets Solomon Triss, who is the leader of the Path of Echoes, is the man that you met at the Circle of Flames, and also a professor, a fellow professor at Charterhall Academy, though he teaches over in the philosophy wing. And we see a moment where he possesses this woman. And this woman immediately starts marching upstairs. And along the way, she's shouting out in a voice much more confident than a woman of her stature, age, or size should probably have. Someone has come to take the eye. Protect it at all costs. And this is the risky position, as they have been forewarned by your rival exactly why you're here.
You know, in hindsight, having sent the rival into the other person's base may not have been the strongest starting positions for us.
That's okay. I mean, something was going to happen regardless of what you rolled. So that's all good. But yes, on the outside of the building, presumably maybe one or two of you or all of you were watching this building pretty closely, you see a couple of things happen. Coming out of the front gates, so the front door is like kind of this double wide tall door that's big enough to like push like a carriage through. And sure enough, it opens up and there is a carriage pulled by real, actual, no shit horses. Two of them.
Not large goats that aren't screaming to look like horses.
No, these are real horses, and these real horses are pulling a carriage. On top of the carriage is a man with a rifle. And then there's a driver, and then there's also, it looks like this is a passenger carriage, like for like a noble person. And it kind of starts sprinting out into the street, heading toward 8th Street here in the quarter, if we look at our maps. You also see a second smaller carriage moving towards the City Watch of Duskvault, the headquarters of the Bluecoats themselves. And last but not least, you see crashing out of the very, very top, exclaimed or proclaimed into this world by a crack of lightning as it launches, a biplane.
What?
Yes, I believe you saw an image on the landing page. It looks a lot like that. It is a plane that is powered by lightning, and so it actually has several lightning rods on it, and it is drawing power to operate from the lightning barrier itself.
Damn. Great metal.
Yes, and so and you see that fly out. You see that fly out. There seems to be only one person. He's like laying down in the cockpit. It doesn't look fully constructed. In fact, you can actually see the person inside.
Guys, new Tinker project.
I had a moment when this was brought up where I'm like, there's flying? We've been talking trains this whole time and there's flying?
I mean,
Someone's got to invent the plane.
Gotta think big.
Wasn't me.
I was the wrong brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Too busy, starting a cult to be building planes. priorities. But yes, that is the scene that your characters. I don't know where you guys are in the fiction. You guys are welcome to drop yourselves wherever you think it would make sense. Myri, the plane is new, but you kind of know that they have multiple carriages, and like that bottom floor is almost like a stables.
The quick question is that this is like a split up thing, right? Or either we put all our eggs in one basket and we choose one of them, or the plane, I don't think the plane has it. It's one of those carriages has it. The plane is definitely gonna try to shoot us down if they see us doing shit. I think that's what the plane is. But I think it's a matter of we split up and get both of those carriages.
I wouldn't throw the plane off entirely, mind you. This is one of those things, though, right, where if we really wanted to know, we could go and, someone could go and attune and at least get some sense of the artifacts, but also, the small one it's going towards the blue coats. So yeah. I think that is very much, that's like a very quick clock of, is an alarm going to go off? And more people coming to deal with things. And then the two separate artifacts, heists. Yeah, any favorites? Anyone, does someone go, I would want to take down that particular car?
Yes, Ethan did guess correctly. You can probably pretty easily fathom that the one pulled by goats is heading to alert the local authorities that something is happening. You also know that Bellwether Crematorium is just right over here, just southeast of the Sparkrite Tower, and that is the headquarters of the Spirit Wardens.
Nice. This is a terrible place to be. Why did we do this?
And to set off a spirit bomb as well. Yeah.
Gotta work quickly.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. So, just to kind of have a general idea, this path here through Clerk Street and going down Main Street, that's going to be the path that is estimated to go, but it might not be what they're actually going to take down, right?
That is the path that they would be trained to go, because those streets are the widest they can get and they're the longest. So like those horses are going to be able to sprint. So you think that larger carriage pulled by the horses would most likely take Clerk Street and then head down Main Street.
Okay.
I don't know why. I thought it would say something different, but it says Main Street.
I'm willing to have Myri go after the goat cart. Stop the police. The blue coats, excuse me.
So you maybe foresaw that this was a thing that happened. You've been here before when stuff has gotten a little bit out of hand, or like the police have been called. You know the path they're going to take. Myri,
they have some crazy ragers at Charterhall, man.
Yeah.
They get police called every weekend.
So no matter what, your first action is going to be risky.
Okay.
But go ahead and tell me how Myri might interfere with this plan.
I'm thinking.
I'm always like, oh, what about this? And I'm like, that might kill a lot of people, and that's usually bad.
We're already past that point. The ghost sword went off.
To be fair, you are always welcome to pitch something to other players, right? Like that's the thing about this game. You're not stepping on other players' toe by being like, well, what about this? Because somebody's going to say something and they're going to be like, that's awesome.
So it's not metagaming.
Well, the whole game is metagaming. This is a game about metagaming.
Well, I have. Let's see. Sorry, go on.
I like the first thing I got is sabotaging the carriage, like shooting some acid at the wheel or fire or whatever, like liquid fire, burn, like make it so take out a wheel so they can't go any further like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It can either be something you launch at them. It could be a trap that you set up beforehand.
Oh, like some road spikes.
Yeah. Whatever you want. This also, Ethan, I'll remind you that Faye has the foresight ability, and you are able to offer assistance for free. This is a very good moment that you guys would have had time to plan this, and so Vay is probably going to be able to hand that out pretty liberally.
Cool. I do love how we can make this a very planned out thing, despite the fact that it is starting off, and I already feel like throwing my hands up, and it's like, what? This isn't what we wanted.
But it is. It's this moment where the players and the characters are at odds. The players are like, why would you do this? And the characters are like, I'm having so much fun.
I knew this would happen, all according to Kikaku. Yeah.
So, CJ, go ahead and describe what you're doing to fuck up this thing.
So I want to have like a tripwire set up in the road so that when like the goats or like a wheel like snags on it, just like barbed wire chain just kind of comes in and just like snaps, wraps around like the wheels and gets them all tangled up, maybe scratches up the goat's legs a little bit. Okay,
I dig it. Yeah, they're kind of like almost like bolas, but like on a string. Like you run into the bola instead of throwing them at people. I don't know if you know what a bola is.
No.
not Ebola, Ebola. They're those like those things that tribes people throw. And they're like, it's like a string with two balls attached that design that like when they catch, they wrap around like the person or the object.
Oh, okay. I got
it's like the sling that gets thrown.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. But yeah, they're really cool. I've actually thrown one before. They're a lot of fun. Surprisingly easy to use. But yes, go ahead and give me a roll for that. Whatever you think will be appropriate.
Would you like assistance on that, or are you comfortable with your picks?
Sure, I'll take assistance.
All right. Yeah. Well then, in planning for putting this down, they would have gone in and gotten different plans of the city from Danny Vizo in order to understand, where that actual choke point would be between Sparkwright and the Bluecoats, having known that that's kind of the path that they would take, and finding a spot to, just the perfect kind of rundown house at a corner that would allow them to go and set this up in a way that could spring out.
I dig it. So, I don't know what you're planning on rolling there, Myri, but it could be rec, it could be study. It like you just kind of tell me what you think it should be.
I was thinking tinker for having an effective. Make sure all the mechanisms are in place. Okay, for sure. Yeah, I think the risk is that they're gonna avoid it, or like either notice it and avoid it, or they're just gonna go the wrong way. But Vay seems to have some sort of plan in place to assist with that part of it anyways. So go ahead and roll. Give yourself +1 die because of Vay's assist. Yes, whiskey standard. Yeah. That's a success. So Myri, I don't know if you're literally there when this happens, and you're like pulling the rope to make it taut, or if this is just already set up and you're watching from a distance. But these goats come tearing down. You see a man wearing like thick aviator goggles, and he's got like kind of one of those scarves. Definitely like he looks like he's cosplaying, even though like this is a legitimate world and he's probably taking himself very seriously. But as it comes across, one of the goats stumbles over this tripwire, and then it kind of like sets off the mechanism as it does. So the goat face plants, or at least stumbles. But then it gets the wheel gets caught. And so then the man kind of gets like almost tossed off. He catches himself, and there's a moment where he's stopped. But then he looks around very quickly. You see him draw a flintlock pistol, and he's working his way out of the car, or out of the carriage. Looks like he might make the rest of the journey on foot, and you guys stopped him about here, I will say. And that doesn't help. This is an audio podcast. It's about 1.5 blocks away from the Sparkwright Tower.
But we still have this other carriage. We still got a couple more characters. We also have a plane. I don't know who wants to do what, but that's where it is. That's where we're at.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we? I guess there's the fun of jumping back and forth, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What's a good? Then I'm like, started talking, and then I'm like, oh, I have to actually come up with a plan or an idea here. Feel free to jump in if you've got something.
I mean, I think,
For sure.
I think
Yeah,
our best bet against that plane is our sniper, man.
So it's about that actually. So with that plane, Albatross. Albatross has a heavy load for this one, and he's on top of. Let's see. Just to kind of have a general idea, well, he would try to get into a high vantage point. What would be the highest building in this area that would be easy to traverse? I mean, he wouldn't have any issue traversing really any building here, but.
Yeah, I would say, probably over here, there's like kind of like an exploded tower. Like this district used to be like a fortress.
Okay.
And so on the outside, and what Sparklight Tower is, are these buttresses that would have been on a fortress that was defensible prior to the cataclysm. So yeah, those are the tallest buildings. I'd say it's about equal height, give or take, from the Sparklight Tower.
Perfect. That's the perfect vantage point. Albatross would have been on top of the tower before any of this even went off. He would have seen all of this occur, and then the second he sees the aircraft, he calls for his bird,
Okay.
and the bird starts chasing after the aircraft.
Okay. The aircraft seems to be taking like a looping pattern. So it's at this point in time, it's kind of heading towards you, but clearly making a bank to go and follow around this carriage. So we'll say it's over here on Legat Street when the bird catches up to it.
Would we be able to have a lane on the map that we could follow as it's going?
Maybe. Let's see. Do I have a? Yeah, here's the plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
get
the
that guy
aircraft?
out of here.
Like, get out of here.
Go on out of here.
Get that
This is-
token out of here.
Yeah, Jacob Bridgewater is the aircraft because he's not here. So
Just
It's
imagine
just
him
like-
T-posing through the sky.
Oh, it's like those plans where it's like, okay, I'm the race car and you're the piece of cheese and Albatross is the cracker. So the cracker go like
No, I want to be the race car.
Can I be the Gouda? I want to be the Gouda cheese.
and someone ate the cheese.
Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
yeah, ultimately, in Blades in the Dark, things are where you want them to be or where they make sense to be. If I think your declaration is a little unfair to my NPCs, I might fight back, but otherwise, they're where you want them to be.
And Albatross also. So I wanted to ask, when it comes to, because I have a new ability here called Ghost Hunter.
Okay, tell me about it.
My bird, it says here, your hunting pet is imbued with spirit energy, gains potency when tracking or fighting the supernatural, and gains an arcane ability. And the choice that I have chosen is Mind Link.
Okay.
So
Okay. So you've chosen Mind Link. So you and the bird have a Mind Link. Is what you're getting at? Okay.
Mhm.
You're gonna fight the plane as a bird?
Yeah.
mean,
That's
I could.
pretty cool.
See, and then you, since you're connected to the mind link of the whole cult, so we could get in, and that bird just can join the whole group.
Yes.
No, my bird's a part of the waters. Occasionally, everyone's just gonna hear scroll. It's like, what?
Seed, what seed?
Why do I have this giant urge to eat seed? Food says in the distance.
Probably because it's better than the hagfish you've been eating. No, but this is a good time to remind you of your ability to. You can, for I think it's it's for a certain amount of stress. I'll look up if you guys use it. You can assist people at a distance. I believe it's 1 additional stress. For 1 additional stress, you can assist people at a distance using your mind, your ability to speak with each other. So keep that in mind going forward. But yes, Albatross, you send this hawk. How do you imagine the mind link works? Are you guys like sharing like an empathic connection, or are you like controlling the hawk?
It would be I would say a little bit of both. Like the bird will kind of follow his orders up until Albatross needs to take control.
Okay, so you're like a rigger with a hard R on both ends of it, from Shadowrun, which is like they can have the thing run on auto soft, or they call it dog brain, or you can just kind of step in and do a full control. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. So what's this bird do?
It's going to, for the most part, it's gonna fly up to the aircraft, but if it could catch up to the aircraft, it's just gonna latch itself onto the aircraft until it has further instructions.
Okay, so why don't you give me a roll for that? Let's see how well this hawk can do to catch up, outmaneuver the plane. A few ways to approach that, right? Because and we'll say that the bird has the same stats as you do, for the most part. I'm gonna say that like it probably doesn't have a very good command or sway, but you know, physical abilities and like stuff like hunt, it probably matches you in terms of skill.
I feel like hunt would definitely be the option, because at this point, like the intention that I have with this bird is definitely to kill if need be. So
yeah, no worries. So in that case, then, because you're not taking like a stealthy approach, the plane does notice, and it's just the bird's ability to catch up to it. That's why I'm asking, because if you'd gone with a prowl, like it would have been like silent.
But if I do a prowl, because that's another option too. Like, would it match my prowl as well?
Yep.
I think it just narratively it depends on like how the bird's approaching, right? If it's like super above and then it dives down at one point, or if it's like I feel like hunt is like, you know, it's coming, you see it, like it's like, or
like this guy's driving a plane and he's like, sorry, is that bird like attacking you? Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
the bird's up in here.
And for this, like for like, because of the mind lake, would the aircraft have a cockpit or no? Like, would it have like covering?
So it is not fully constructed, and so you can see the man inside like kind of what looks like a metal and wooden lattice frame around him. Mm-hmm. It's based off of the Da Vinci designs, but with the biplane wings, where it's designed so that one man lays down in a cockpit and controls the plane that way.
So because of the circumstances, it's rule of chaos here. The bird's going for the kill.
Okay, you're gonna try and kill this man?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So what are the conditions here?
Like, what do you mean? Like where? I'm gonna say this is risky. Your bird could take harm. He could avoid it, definitely. And I'm gonna say it's for limited effect. Without mind link, without you being the character that you are, I think it would be even lower than that. But I'm going to start by saying it is risky for limited effect.
Okay, and I don't want to push just yet, so let's see where it takes us. Bird, please do the Lord's work.
Okay, it's a partial success. So the bird does catch up. The pilot of this thing, just as the bird is arriving, kind of does like a very quick like barrel. The bird kind of gets caught up in the wings of this. Oh. So he is not injured at this point in time, but he is in a desperate position. The bird is, meaning that he is at risk of either getting caught and severely injured, or like potentially losing out on this moment, but he is okay for right now. Of course, we're pausing in time to check in with Vay. Does Vay have a plan for this carriage that's running rampant down the streets, or will you continue to allow? Remember that you all have cohorts, and you also have Marv operating kind of like a cohort in this scene. And you can move them where they need to be. They're like chess pieces that way.
Yeah.
Marv's got to tell those horses no.
Marv's standing in the middle of the street, just like.
Hey,
no.
I don't like that.
Hey,
You horses
quit
need
it.
to stop, hey.
No horses here. Stop it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What are you, Britch?
No, my name is
Yeah.
Marv. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think what we're gonna do next is having had a whole bunch of fires in the district very recently. There's enough issues with some of the houses right around the paths that we want this carriage to take as far as that. And so you've driven this line, right, where it's going across and it's going down. And so with the work and foresight kind of going on, what I want to do is to have these buildings go down with the potential of hitting the carriage, but then also to block the ways in order to make sure that they continue down this, this corridor straight down, where I think there's going to be, I don't know, there are 3 or 4 different steps that Vay has gone through and planned as far as making sure that the carriage is going in the correct direction.
Okay. And where is the correct direction? Like, let's so you want it to divert from the path? Just long click on the map where you want the carriage to go, just so that I have an idea.
Yeah. So wanting it to go here or down, southward basically.
Okay.
And then, like, where I'm at right now is it's like, I know I'm putting a block here. I would also like to squish them with a house here right beforehand, in that there are multiple, this is where the foundation is bad. And so there's kind of this 2 actions going on, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Of like,
Absolutely. So we can say that at least some of your cohorts are here, and they've set up some sort of like Marv has already set up like a scene where him and the dockers are kind of like making it like, you can't come here, like we spilt some goods here. Mm-hmm. That was set up in the last episode. So you want to place that there. You actually want to knock over a house over here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's it. I'm kind of just saying 2 things at once, and I want to make sure they're on this path.
Yeah.
But also,
I totally
want to
get
try
it.
to stop.
Yeah. So yeah, you set up kind of like this this thing. They want to go. Actually, if you want to stop them, they're going to make that turn anyways. Maybe the scene or the building is here just south of this turn.
That's fair. Yeah, doing it right after the turn when the vehicle is slowest.
Yeah, and so we'll say that you put something there, so that they're forced to go back if they want to move at all. And so yeah, go ahead and how are you making this building fall? We'll decide where it is.
Yeah, I now look at the pips and it's like, oh, I'm not much of a.
That's okay. Okay, it's so you might not be the one to do it, and this is where flashbacks and consort rolls and command rolls and stuff come into play. So if you flash back to you hiring somebody else to do it, or convincing someone else to do it, or like working with somebody else in the past to do it, there's a way to accomplish that.
That's fair. I think Drillbit actually would be a perfect person to do this. And so now it puts me into that fun spot that I've never done before of, I guess I'm role-playing both sides of the conversation.
Yeah. Play 2 characters at once.
It's like, hey, could you do this? And it's like, no, go fuck yourself. It's like, ooh.
It's like, you think I would make it easy on myself, but I didn't.
No.
I'm so argumentative.
This is the actual sort of conversation. Joe Bridges is like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah. So yeah, no, we would definitely go and have this conversation of like, good news, buddy. You get to go, and I got two different things for you. You gotta deconstruct a house. I know you like a lot of woodworking and shop, and at the same time, hopefully, you get and flatten the enemies and set us up into a better spot. And at this point, Jobit, almost as if there's a bit of a glow, kind of like for a second, realizing that he gets to do multiple things at once that hit off these rules that he's living by. It's just like, I think we can make Zetuek, and will go and position himself up. And I imagine for about half a day beforehand, he'd just be hanging out around that site with he's got like a hammer, and he's just he's knocking bricks around. Like people, like passer goes would just kind of see it as some construction and then that type of thing. But it seems like it wasn't making very much progress. But what was going on is he's just kind of knocking out every third or fourth brick basically in order to make a very, very topply kind of wall ready to be set off.
And so maybe he's holding on to like a cable that he's wrapped around the last brick, and just kind of on the go he gives it a pull. So for that flashback, I'm gonna have Vay pay 2 stress. That was something that you lost a little bit of sleep over, is making sure that was done correctly.
That's fair.
And then I will have you make a roll. So whatever you think is appropriate for that action. Vay's contribution to that action.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a command roll. Basically having stand up at a certain vantage point position, being ready to send off the signal.
Okay. Go ahead and give me that roll. You can push yourself. I'll give you a devil's bargain.
Not about those.
Yeah. I'll give you a devil's bargain. There's somebody that you are not expecting in the back of that carriage. I mean, that was probably true to begin with, but I'm going to make them worse.
There's always someone.
It's always someone.
Okay. Yeah. Sure, I'll do that. I think that's
so that's
inescapable in some ways.
Well, no, it's one of those things where I have 2 people that could have been back there. Or actually, there was somebody who was going to be back there. Now there's another person that didn't exist before.
Oh, okay. So I just made it worse. Cool.
That's what a devil's bargain is.
All right. Well, let's see how good or bad it is then. Oh, partial.
It's a partial success, and so a complication occurs, which will be based completely off of the person in the back. So yes, you send the signal. It is timed well. They go around the corner, they see the building fall, and they slow down. They've already seen that over here on Clark Street that there's some sort of commotion going on with these dockers and Marv. Knowing that they've been given the warning that someone has come for the eye, they've come prepared. Out of the back comes stumbling.
They got dogs. They got tag dogs.
So actually, oddly enough, they actually do. And so I don't know if you recall Master Crockett from the very first.
That guy.
Yeah, he looks like Reaper from Overwatch, and he's got hounds. Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna show players there. Yes. So the back of the carriage opens, and this man has 2 dogs on a leash. One of them is like a Great Dane, and the other one is like a German Shepherd. He unleashes the German Shepherd, and it starts sprinting forward. Whereas he comes forward and he draws like a saber while he's holding onto this Great Dane on a leash. The German Shepherd is sniffing around for threats. He is prepared to defend this thing while the carriage does its best to turn around in this narrow street, or this situation that's kind of narrow. That is the complication that occurs. I have not ticked off any of the 2 clocks just yet. Those are the next consequences if you guys start failing more stuff or partial successes. I should point out I have 2 clocks. They're on the left-hand side of the map. One says mission failed. Yeah, that's an 8-section clock. And there's one that says Po-Po. Where Poe from the Teletubbies will come in duplicate.
Oh, please
no. That is the reaction time of the blue coats. So either one of those can be filling up next. So we have these 3 kind of scenes going on where Vey seems to be working on trying to capture this this carriage, the one that you were expecting. Albatross is dealing with this complicated biplane that I don't think any one of you were necessarily expecting. And the smaller carriage heading to alert the police. We'll snap back to CJ, or Myri. Myri, you just got the this carriage stopped. The man draws a flintlock pistol and he begins to kind of walk down the street. He's not running or sprinting. He's guarded. He looks nervous. You would maybe recognize him. He is a staff member at the school, but he's not like super powerful.
Yeah.
He's a member of the family.
Mess him up.
Shoot him in the leg.
Yeah, bring up my railgun.
Not not gonna go that heavy.
Starting the mission with like the end game like weapon for like the janitor.
You just built it. Yeah, this is Groundskeeper Willie.
Not on him, but I think I can say in my loadout I got a pistol that I can try to shoot him in the leg.
Yeah, sure, if you like.
I'd want to say that like Myri would be like she's not like down in the trenches with him. She'd probably be like up on some building a little bit of a distance away, just using okay, did it go off okay? And like, oh, that guy's still trying to go.
Yeah. He looks like he's maybe a little bit hurt, but he's not down for the count. On your items, yes, you could definitely draw a pistol or even a second pistol. Because you are not a hound, the difference with your pistols and your guns is they are kind of one shot and then you gotta reload.
Okay.
They also punch at a tier 1.
You know what? I'm fine with just taking one shot with the pistol, because then, well, okay, because if I shoot at him, either he'll be too scared to go forward, or he'll be more incentivized to run. That's where if I miss, that's the 2 potential options. I feel like if I miss, he'll just charge at him. Whereas right now he's being cautious.
Do you think it'd be more interesting to be like at gunpoint, like right beside him, or?
Well, then it becomes talking, and then I don't have any talking.
It could be just guns, just close guns.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can study a conversation or study a person. Like, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, you describe what you're doing, then based off of what you're doing, we would pick an action, and then we set the effect in the
Can I take a page out of my good friend Albatross's book and shoot a light to cause a fire in front of him?
Sure. I can give you that.
Just don't kill any babies this time. That was my mistake.
Yeah. So you line up a shot. You see if you can kind of catch him by surprise, or maybe cause him to change route. Once again. Again, pulling a page out of Albatross's book. So go ahead and give me an action roll for that.
I have been training up Hunt because girl's like, I'm building a gun. I want to know how to use my gun.
That's fair. Yeah, I would take Hunt. If you use Wreck, it would be a little bit more destructive or loud, I would say.
Nah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So what's positions?
I'm gonna say it's risky.
Fair.
For I'm gonna say standard effect. I'll give you standard effect on this one.
Do I want to push it?
Push it real good.
I'll push it. Why not?
Yeah, take that
It's
stress.
crazy.
Get traumatized.
She's had it too good for too long.
Oh, you still haven't been traumatized, eh?
No.
Yeah, it says right in the rule book, CJ. It says drive your character like a stolen car, like right under player guidelines.
I'm sorry. I'm so cautious.
Get it together.
That's a
partial. That's what I figured.
That's a partial success. So yeah, you do manage to hit this lantern. It hits the ground, and it you maybe don't light fire to a building, but more than anything, without revealing your position, you let your presence be known. You end up in a desperate position though, because now, as you're watching this scene, this guy is freaked out, and he happens to be the first person to ever invent a revolver. And so he starts firing off randomly around him.
Uh-oh.
The flintlock revolver. It's a masterpiece.
Can we take him out? I want his gun.
Steam-powered revolver.
Let me
take him out and take him out. Take his gun.
But yes, you are sitting in the window, and he just he pulls the trigger, and it goes off, and you're expecting, like most like flintlock pistols, that it would then be the last shot and you can move in. But all of a sudden, like almost like rapid fire, it's just like bam, 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 and you realize he's fired off like 12 shots, and it doesn't sound like he's about to stop.
Oh shit.
And like, yeah, the bullet comes through the glass and it shatters beside you, and you have to duck. And you realize that this guy is really on edge, and he has some sort of weapon that just won't seem to stop firing.
Just won't quit.
Very oh shit moment.
Yes, I think I messed up by calling it a flintlock pistol. That is actually not what I meant to say. But
canonically, I think it's cooler.
Yeah,
it's what I assumed it was.
Yes.
26 round flintlock pistol.
And we go back. So Albatross, you're off on that far building, and you're kind of like maybe seeing through the bird's eyes. The man, actually, it's a woman that's driving the plane. She's kind of like a stocky woman, like kind of like those feet of raw that they brought over to Canada. You know, good stock. But she is driving this plane. She's got these like thick aviator goggles on. She turns towards the bird, and you see that her left eye is like impossibly green and does not have a pupil. Looks like an emerald.
Okay. She's looking at the bird, right?
She looks at the bird. And she does a maneuver. So she's going to act before you. This is something that you would have to resist on behalf of your bird.
Okay.
She does another complicated maneuver where she does like this corkscrew barrel roll loop-de-loop in order to try and knock the bird off of the wing.
And I would have to resist, essentially, right?
Yes. Yeah, if you want the bird to maintain its position.
What's the plan with the bird anyway? Just curious, just as far as like
distraction from the aircraft itself. I mean, you're not getting attacked by an aircraft right now, so it's definitely just to either incapacitate or keep distracted this pilot that could potentially hurt everyone. Like this aircraft from the mind link, can I see any weapons on it?
No, but you might not know what to look for either. Like,
Okay.
there's no guns or anything on it. I'll say that much.
Okay.
You
But
see that this woman does have a couple bandoliers on her.
I mean, for resisting, I don't think I would resist it. If anything, because I'm gonna let them do the maneuver.
Okay. The bird is not going to is going to be knocked off the plane. It might be able to catch up, but it's going to be more difficult.
It'd be like a disengage, yeah.
Also, the bird is going to take a level 1 harm. Don't put that on your character sheet, but the bird is going to operate with 1 die fewer going forward.
Okay.
You can resist that if you like. That's a separate consequence. So basically, you've lost the opportunity, and the bird is going to become moderately injured as its wing gets battered against the wing of the plane.
Yep.
But you can act at this point in time as well.
Albatross, taking a deep breath, starts to predict exactly where the movements of the aircraft is going to be. He's going to push with sharpshooter, allowing me to make a range attack at extreme distance. And with the push.
So in this case, you would not be able to make the shot without pushing. I've let you do it a few times, but I got to be very careful about this. If you push for sharpshooter, you cannot also push for more dice or greater effect.
Okay. So what would be the because the whole purpose of the bird was to distract the pilot.
Yes, and to be fair, it has worked in the sense that the pilot has not swooped in and done anything to anyone else, and probably won't. The pilot is probably going to be focused on you or the bird, depending on how this roll goes. In fact, I'll give you a devil's bargain. The pilot is going to be focused on you because of story reasons.
Oh.
Aw, they like me.
Devil's bargain. They're racist. Ooh.
they hate birds and despite being in the sky. So I'll take the devil's bargain.
Okay, so give yourself an additional die. And then go ahead and make that shot.
And that's risky.
That's risky for, I'm gonna say limited effect because the plane is armored.
See, they fly a plane because they're trying to spite the birds. I'm mad that they get to fly. Fuck you, birds, I can fly too. Woo!
Let's go.
So that is for standard effect. You do manage to hit one of the engines. There's 2 engines.
And as he sees the engine go off, Albatross is gonna say, "Keep your eyes on the prize."
Through the water, steady others. So you see the plane start to circle back towards where you are. In fact, I'll describe it a little bit further. The way that the plane seems to be moving, it seems random. So it starts and it goes, okay, so the shot came from over there, and it starts to go this way, and then it kind of it does like a circle. It's no longer moving as acrobatically as it was before, probably because it only has 1 engine. But it starts to do a circle, and then it's almost like they're triangulating your position, and then they find you. They're doing some tricky maths. So this person seems to be taking a moment to triangulate your position, and so you do have a little bit more time when it comes back to you there before they're upon you because of the critical success. We go to Vey. Drillbit just knocked over this building. Master Crockett has sent his dogs to kind of sniff around and see what they can find, but also he seems prepared to defend the carriage while the driver is attempting to turn it around Because they were moving so fast and the horses are spooked, it's taking a moment.
Okay. So next up, they would like to. Actually, I'd love to. So we had our cohorts there in order for them to turn around. Is it improper for me to go in and go, well, they're like right there, 1 or 2 buildings away, and we start a street brawl?
With Master Crockett or with each other?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes?
Yes.
The answer is you have your elite thugs in Marv who are just over here on Clark Street. I would say that they would be able to make their way down here pretty quickly. You also have your adepts. So depending on who you want to pull out, both make sense in this instance.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the elite thugs. I think very,
Okay.
West Side Story type confrontation.
So this is all
going
part of the plan.
Snapping at him.
You said, Marv, as soon as you see the carriage go by, I need you to come back and you need to follow it behind. And so that's totally fine. What I'll actually have you do, who are they fighting?
Yeah, I'd love it. You know what? I think Marv would be the perfect person to go and kick off the fight. Start fighting Master. Was it Crockett?
Yeah. So Marv and flanking him is probably about 4 or 5 of these dockers, none of which are as beefy and ripped as him, but they do look like they could probably take a punch and give one just as good. They're carrying some weapons, maybe even a gun. They approach Master Crockett. You're gonna roll 2 die to represent the elite thugs.
All right.
You are able to assist them as Vay, or if someone else wants to assist them. But this is kind of them versus Master Crockett, not Vay versus Master Crockett. But you can make that roll there.
Oh, it's here on the 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a fortune roll, yeah.
Oh, I could do it that way too.
Yeah.
I'm doing it on the right side.
Oh, don't matter which way you do it.
I think I can do.
Well, 2 die taking the better. Okay. So yes, that is a failure. They may be able to step in and protect them, but what's going to happen is Marv and these men come and they think that they're going to move in on this carriage. They see the Master Crockett there with the saber.
Yeah,
and his dog.
it's just a bunch of dogs. Yeah, whatever. It's just dogs.
And so Marv kind of starts moving a little bit quicker. Master Crockett, he lifts up the dog who's snarling like this Great Dane that he's snarling, and he holds it in one hand, and he just cuts the chain that he's been holding it with, and the dog sprints to Marv. And we won't harm Marv. And so Marv gets knocked the fuck out as this Great Dane kind of pushes him down, and he hits his head on a rock. He's not going to take any mechanical harm, but he's no longer part of the scene. The
I like
dogs,
to think right before he hits the rock, he goes, "The rock," and then
yes. And so yes, he will be okay. He's unconscious for the moment, but this is something we haven't come up with because you guys are nice to your cohorts. Cohorts can take damage, and those cohorts are going to take a level 2 harm. So that's going to take them from to impaired. Oh wait, I put down the wrong one. I'll put them. Yes. Yeah, so the group is impaired as this Great Dane kind of hops on one guy and actually starts tearing into his leg and dragging him across the road. The German Shepherd comes up and grabs the man by the testicles and throws him to the ground. Just shaking, and as Master Crockett kind of approaches them, saber drawn, with his Darth Vader mask, they seem to be in a spot of trouble. Ruh-roh. Myri, this man is firing off loudly. You know that if he doesn't stop soon, that there's no way that the people aren't going to hear. And actually, the shooting was supposed to represent me ticking up 2 boxes on the Popo tracker.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
And that's only a 4-segment clock for the Blue Coast to respond.
Shit. Can I blowgun syringe some sleeping stuff at this guy?
Absolutely. You just want to take off your blowgun and you want to tick off your bandolier, and then your bandolier has 3 slots on it. So this is a tier 1 solution unless you want to pay coin or do a flashback to upgrade it. And so you can pay coin or stress to push above your tier, but it's a tier 1 item, which means it will work, but depending on your roll, it might take a second, or you might miss or something like that.
Well, like you said, let's get some trauma on this girl, so I'll push it.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna push it for greater effect. So it's gonna go from limited to standard effect. It's gonna be desperate.
Okay.
Desperate because you are very close to having the police just show up.
Yeah.
And also because he's firing randomly, you could get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me that roll.
It's probably gonna be another hunt.
Yeah, go ahead and give me that hunt roll.
Desperate for great effect?
Standard. It would have been limited. It's like mechanically, you guys are tier 1. You're punching up against tier 4 faction.
Okay. 6.
Nice.
Hey.
You did it for standard effects. So yeah, this guy's firing. You managed to like dip over in between shots. You fire and it just gets him like right in the neck. And he has a moment where he fires off a couple more shots and then just falls to the ground. Like a bull tranquilizer. It hits him. It's probably the least stressed he's been in a long time. Did him a favor.
Get a nice good nap. You know what? You earned it, buddy.
Yeah, and so CJ, you've eliminated that threat. I don't know if you want to do anything to like cover up the scene or like do anything with them, or if you want to move somewhere else. But tell me what you're doing.
Bouncing. I'm getting away from the police.
Okay. Yeah. So we cut to Myri, kind of shuffling or sprinting, running. I don't know what kind of.
Nah, I wanna steal that guy's gun.
Okay. Yeah. We cut to you. Like kind of like coming down the stairs. You walk over. You take the gun. You realize that there's only like 2 shots left in it at this point. But it is a revolver, and that he actually had like kind of like a chain of ammunition around him that he's been flying through. You would remember from your time working with the Sparkrights that they are world-renowned tinkerers.
Yeah.
But yes, you have this complicated gun.
Mine now.
Yes. And with that cut to you, walking down, sprinting down, however you want it to be, down the road to wherever you want to be next. We cut to Albatross. Yeah. Albatross, you are over on your lightning tower. You are watching, maybe from 2 locations at once. Yeah.
Albatross is going to actually, as the aircraft is starting to make its circle around and lose sight of him, he's going to disengage off of the tower, grabbing it by the claw, and start hooking it the fuck off. He's going to zipline down.
Okay. So you can give me some sort of roll for that.
Prowl.
I'll give you a devil's bargain.
because I have scout. When you gather info on where is it? Scout. When you gather information to locate the target, you get a +1 effect. When you hide in prepared position or use camouflage, you get 1d to rolls to avoid detection. So right now, he's gonna use his scout to try to avoid detection and basically be camouflaged as he's going down, basically hiding through the shadows.
Okay.
Not that.
Okay, so you get an additional die then. Okay, yeah. So you kind of like quickly you've set up the zip line, and you get down onto the main level where you kind of have this set up, like there's like a cloak that kind of looks like a stone or something, and you throw it up. Go ahead, and I'm assuming you're going to do a prowl then.
Yes.
Okay, give me that prowl roll with 1 additional die.
And that'd be a risky for standard? Or limited?
I'm gonna say it's desperate for standard. So go ahead and give yourself some XP.
Alright.
I don't know what your level is, but remember we got that everyone steals, so you get a +1 action rating to prowl, finesse, and tinker.
Yeah, because I have all of those. I ended up picking up 1 extra finesse, so I definitely used that one already. And we don't have the ability to go to 4, so because I have a 3 on my prowl anyway. But let's see, 4 dice. Let's see where it goes.
Oh, that's rough.
That is 4
That's
failures.
So rough.
And so you're gonna learn why this plane is a threat. We cut to the pilot. They're wearing these goggles, and you see they take their hand off the wheel and they flick these glasses, and it starts going through lenses, and through her perspective, she watches you do this. And then she closes her right eye, and the entire field kind of goes like this, like hazy green color. And she sees every location where you could go in this moment.
Oh.
And starts doing the math in her head to locate the probability of where you're going to be most likely when she decides to throw a vial of rage essence at you. And so you are facing a serious complication as this bottle of rage essence crashes across your face. No matter where you go, she's gonna know. And you will take a level 3 harm called Enraged. It is temporary, much like the one that happened to Myri. It will not be like a series of recovery rolls. But what this means is that until someone helps you, or unless someone helps you, I control your actions.
Don't worry, it's not like Albatross is an unstable kind of character.
Understandable. Okay, let's see. This is gonna be interesting.
You can resist it. You can resist the consequence, and I'll lower it, which means that it will be like for every 1 action you take, I control it.
And resisting it would be taking stress, or would it be?
It would be potentially taking stress. So, in this case, depending on how you describe it, I would say it's either an insight or a resolve. Do you have the resolve to power through the rage and do what you are meant to do, or do you have the insight to kind of overcome and direct the rage appropriately?
I would feel like it would be his insight, just purely because we're in blue coat territory. We're deep in the heart of his greatest hatred. I mean, but this also means that he has shit. I mean, he knows it's more important.
So
to...
the way that resistance rolls work, the way resistance rolls work, they will always work. It's just a matter of how much stress you take. You roll a certain number of die based on how many skills you have at least 1 pip in. We subtract 6. We subtract that number from 6, and that's how much stress you take. So the most you could take is 5, and the least you could take is 0.
Okay. He's gonna try to resist it then.
Well,
Okay.
also,
Yeah.
just as like a pre-warning type thing, if you're doing it because you're like, I don't want to be out of the game. If you do let this happen, like, you know, we also can figure things out in like a turn or two, because it's like, you know, we do have characters, and there's Aaron. What did you say?
Yeah,
Like,
you could.
how we can get out of it is just like interactions with a roll, I guess.
Well, no, it depends. So you're only out for the scene, if that makes any sense. And so once the scene ends, or like once something happens to kind of change the tone of the scene, then they can step back in. So usually, like if you were, yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
Let's let the rage take over.
Okay. So the rage takes over. You're still gonna make rolls, but I'm gonna tell you where you're going and who you're attacking.
Okay.
And so we're gonna start with that right now. I want you to go ahead and make a skirmish roll against the closest civilian.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that it is controlled for great effect.
What was that 6 for?
Now you're getting 6s.
Okay.
He just really wants to punch a civilian.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and tick 2 on the Popo sheet. I did actually overdo it the first time, so that's only 3 out of 4 total on that one. As you tear this man's heart out of his chest.
You want to eat that one too?
Yeah, no, it's not tasty.
It's not his thing. No, and it does not cause you to like forgo your morals. Rage essence, you know, is something that they feed to psychonauts, or soldiers that are unwilling to perform acts of extreme violence.
So in his head, he's enraged even more. Like it's like the rage that was going through his body is now matching. Like his mind is now matching his body, given the actions that are just taken. So in his own head, he's fully focused on killing the pilot now. At least,
yeah, absolutely.
In it.
Yeah, you will more or less be forced to attack the person closest to you. You also have lost the ability to make long-term plans, so it's literally just what's in front of you.
Okay.
The plane is circling at the bottom of your head, and we will return to you in a moment. We're gonna go over to Vey is watching from a building as these dogs are tearing apart your cohorts.
I've been sitting here for like 15 minutes as the other 2 plans have been going on, and I'm like, the hell do I do now?
So I have an idea.
Yo, let's hear it.
Yes,
hear
please.
it,
Oh God, please. Because Shiova could go in, possess who's in the cart to take whatever's in the cart and run outside with it. That will at least get the package outside. I don't know how long she can control it. That's my idea.
I think that's a cool way to confront and kick it off, because there's definitely an amount of like, you know, like Drill Bit also very, you know, maneuverable on the ground, able to do things, but there are 2 very big boss characters. One who I don't know what that interaction is going to be like, and the other one I don't want to interact with. What is his name again? Crawford. Scares the hell out of me.
Crockett. Yeah.
Crockett, and scares the hell out of Vey too. So yeah, no, if we've got plans that we can do to move things around.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the benefit of having multiple characters. Myri can temporarily drop out the score, and Shiova can jump in. I'm happy to do that. So yeah, Shiova, what are you doing?
Well, I guess, yeah, according to the plans, they'd probably be set up like behind those buildings where like the cart was gonna come down, like the buildings would come down to stop the cart, and so like hearing everything like come to a stop and like some fighting's going on, that's when she would like, I don't know if she already would have left. I think for something like this she would have left the girl at home. Maybe.
That's
no,
fair.
either left her at home or somewhere like on the outskirts of the like not within this area so that she could.
Maybe she's with Vay. Like we just cut, and like the whole time she's just been cowering in the corner behind Vay. Yeah. Wherever you put her, she is now part of this scene. Just keep that in mind, that that girl is now part of this scene as well.
Okay. Oh, you want me to decide right now?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm okay if you say she's just with Vay. Basically, is she on her own? Is she in the district?
No, okay. With Vay.
Okay. Yep. No worries. Vay is somewhere. He's in a building. He kind of pinpointed it on the corner nearby. So she would be able to see this, though she may or may not be watching. As Shiova, you described her as like this kind of like unnaturally gangly person with like double joints on all of her limbs and her neck. This horrifying spirit.
Y'all don't even know. I based her design off of a little something. In the ball jointed doll community, there's a specific type of brand that makes their dolls look like that.
Well then, I didn't know there was a ball jointed community, the doll community, but I guess there's a community for everything, so that makes sense.
I kind of want to see this doll now.
Yeah.
So, doll chateau, ball jointed dolls, doll chateau.
Yeah. So, you're possessing the carriage driver or the other person in the carriage?
The other person in the carriage, like who's inside, like I think in ghost form, she's able to move through physical objects.
Yep. You totally can. So go ahead and swoop in there. Inside the carriage, you see that there is a man. You would recognize this man as the head of the Foundation classroom. So he's not the man that you met at the Circle of Flames, but he is like the kind of the head professor of civil engineering.
She has no clue who that is.
You would have seen him because it's a big building, but it's not that big.
Okay.
You would have had to pass by. The Sparkrite Tower is where they teach you how to do electrical engineering as well as like civil engineering. But
Shiova didn't go to school here.
Oh shit! Yeah. So Shiova doesn't know nothing. She just sees like a man wearing like a very nice coat. He's got a bit of stubble.
Okay.
And glasses. Inside the cart as well is like a lockbox.
Okay. Well, she's not gonna be able to grab that box on her own, so we're gonna attune to possess this man.
Okay.
So this seems do I want to push it yet? It feels like a time to push it, but no, I'll save it for when I need to get him to keep moving. So we'll just try that attune roll.
The long-term confidence. We'll see if the dice agree.
Okay, so risky standard.
Yes, risky for standard.
I saw that 6. That was rude. Partial success.
Okay. It's a partial success. So, you are going to tick up 1 clock on the mission failed, because the cart starts to move. You do successfully possess this man, but the cart starts to move. You can grab the box. You can close. The door is closed. But you see through the window, through this man's eyes, the scene with Master Crockett and the dogs. And it looks like you basically have reduced effect. You are going to have to do something pretty drastic to, or I guess end up in a desperate position. Reduced effect. It's one of those two.
Okay.
You are going to have to do something pretty drastic to intervene in that. Otherwise, you will be following this cart or this carriage, because you're riding it, and no one other than the man you're possessing seems to know. So yeah, the cart does start to move back up to Clerk Street, kind of riding over and around this fight between Crockett and the Dockers. You see that, but we are going to cut back to Albatross very quickly. Excuse me, I'm just burping. Albatross, fueled by rage, like you do see, like after you murdered that person in broad daylight, by the way, or well, no, not daylight because it's
broad moonlight.
No, not even. It's just always night and duskfall. It's very, very dark here. So not that many people saw, but there was some people that have seen. And you see like some people kind of screaming and running. You see that there's this plane flying above you. It seems to be it did like a circle around you after it threw that, and now it seems to be heading this way. Is its goal. You can intervene before it gets to that exact location, but it's moving south.
Yeah, just no reason or no logic, no reason, just fires.
Okay. Yeah, so you would fire at the plane. That's fine. How do I want to handle this? Yeah, I will say that it's risky for standard.
Jesus fucking
Where were those before?
Another critical success.
All right, I meant to say limited effect, but that's okay. I said what I said. You do manage to just focus in enough that before it gets there, you hit the second engine.
Oh, I didn't hear that. You were shooting at the plane. Oh, that's good.
And so it does start to peter out. You see it kind of start to glide down. We see from the pilot's perspective that the second that they threw the rage essence at you, that your lines, like it seems like that she has some sort of ability to predict what's going to happen, and then starts to narrow it down. But your lines become so wild and variable that she doesn't have time to figure it out, and that's how you manage to score this. And so she does end up crashing right here in the middle of Seneschal Road. And I would have picked a different road if I had read it before that. But even like we'll say that with your critical success, you see the direction she's going and you start to make your way over there. Along the way, you may make a resistance roll to see if you can stop yourself. You do unfortunately see like another young man who previously saw what you did earlier and is in the process of running away, and I will have you make a skirmish roll against him as well.
Do I have to make the skirmish roll first, then the resistance, or
you make the resistance if you don't want to make the skirmish roll?
I'll make the resistance. So what would that be? Insight?
No, it's going to be resolve. Do you have the resolve to stop yourself?
Nope.
Well, you do, but you suffer 4 stress to not.
And he goes overboard. He gets a new trauma.
Oh man.
Okay.
Albatross.
That's okay, Albatross. It kind of makes sense. The game haunted. Okay. It makes sense. You killed an innocent person like just moments ago, and you barely stopped yourself from doing it to this person. You maybe lash out at them. You look into their eyes and they are so scared of you. And you maybe look into like a mirror and like the reflection caused by like the lantern behind you, you could see your own face and it's like twisted, and it's not you.
Blood drops will start to hyperventilate and then just drop.
I mean, you're welcome to take yourself out of the scene. I'm actually willing to let you keep going.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I think that because you're fueled by rage essence, it's just gonna get a little bit fucked up.
Should I also add the other pips of stress that I got from the prior one and keep it going, or?
No, you can start at 0. I'm gonna be nice about that. You took the trauma. But we will actually go on break here, guys. So in this moment, Albatross is realizing like the loss of humanity that he's maybe suffering each and every day he spends with the Soul Seekers.
We're not great influences. We're sorry about that.
I mean, as far as it goes, everyone else thinks he's a horrible influence himself, so...
Nah, we all love Albatross. But as much as we love Albatross, we love RC Cola more. Ladies and gentlemen at home, drink your RC Cola. Forgo the Dr. Pepper. Don't listen to Chris. Chris is often... I don't know how much you listen to the other show, Ethan, but Chris is always saying that you gotta drink Dr. Pepper, so I'm saying you gotta drink RC Cola. We'll start like a civil war in the Dragon's Creek gaming community. Yeah. That's my goal.
Here on the Blades in the Dark podcast, we definitely choose RC Cola, especially given that it is a Chicago beverage, and it should be respected, as the name says. RC Cola is in fact the best.
Yeah, it's just more affordable. It's the affordable. It's the drink for the affordable person.
Yeah. It's not that bourgeoisie soda.
It has that Midwestern Dr. hospitality in it. Yeah. British Dr. Pepper has this pompous air to it.
It's like, what, you got doctorates in literature, Mr. Pepper? But yes, we will we'll take 5 or 10 minutes. It'll probably just be a few seconds, maybe an ad break there for you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all very soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Sorry, I've been drinking beers. I've been drinking this Velvet Bubble Lord by Flying Monkey Craft Brewery. They got the blueberry sour. It's all right. Blueberry's not my favorite, but the LCBO is on strike, which means that you can't get alcohol anywhere. Or if you do manage to find a store that carries it, you cannot be picky about what it is. So, yeah, I don't drink a lot.
I'm really struggling right now.
Well, when the only / main supplier of alcohol in the province is like, yeah, we don't want to do that anymore, it's a bit of a moment.
Ticking clock, really.
Yeah.
And homebrewers celebrate.
Yeah, and I don't drink enough to just fucking sit there and stockpile. Like, people were buying booze like people were with toilet paper during the early COVID days, which was kind of interesting. But there's also you can't buy that much booze at once, so there was a lot of schemes of people sending in each family member individually to buy 5 bottles of whiskey each. So it's kind of, yeah. So yeah, there is an alcohol shortage in Ontario right now. But that's okay, because I don't really need it that badly. I just wanted a blueberry sour, apparently. So we are back. We just went before break there, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Ethan's texting me. I don't know what he's trying to say, but yeah, he went to go grab a cider.
You got him wanting cider. You talking it up?
Yeah, well, he's just rubbing in his face that he can have alcohol and I can't.
You just made it sound so great. I had to grab some. Go ahead.
Albatross, in his rage, he managed to shoot down this plane, but then as he was walking towards it, driven by his rage, he happened upon yet another innocent civilian. In an attempt to stop himself from actually killing a second innocent person, accidentally traumatized himself. Yet again. And so while normally that would mean that you're out of the score, or at least out of the scene, because of the nature of this score more or less being one giant scene, because of the narrative element of the rage essence file, Albatross is still up and walking around, but we will see what shenanigans he gets up to. He has become more than anything like a piece that I will be moving around the board. Though if if one of his teammates manages to come in and perhaps assist him in some way, we can look at reintroducing him in with full control at that point in time. But in that moment, the plane crashes, and like you can hear it, like this sputtering engine, just like the. That wasn't a very good sound effect, but that's what I have. But the plane, and you hear it kind of like the sound of creaking metal and snapping wood as it crashes in the street off in the distance behind you. You see that Crockett is attacking your cohorts. It looks like he's going to go in and like basically slaughter them if he can. And Shiova has possessed the passenger in this horse-drawn carriage. Is sitting beside a lockbox. But the carriage driver, not knowing that had just happened, is attempting to divert the carriage and is moving back up north to the way that they came originally, bypassing this. And so we'll go to Shiova. What does Shiova do?
We're gonna grab that lockbox and try. I assume there's doors on this thing, so kind of jump out the back doors.
Yeah. It's one of those carriages where they have like that side door, but you throw it open. This man he's not old, but he's in his 40s. He's not the most spry guy. I would say that you can go ahead and make like some type of roll to see if you can fall out without hurting this gentleman. Depending
Which might be a positive.
I'm gonna say, like, honestly, I don't care if I hurt him.
That's okay. There's gonna be a risk. You might lose control of him.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
As long as I don't, if I feel like, yeah, if I hurt him, then he might be like, oh no, get out of me, group with us. But now he's like, right now he's like, let's see what you're doing. Let her cook.
Stop hurting yourself.
Yeah. Unlike when you possessed Aaron Hurt, this man is maybe not as willful, or at least not as angry. He does seem to be. You can kind of feel his presence in the back of your mind, as he seems to be kind of questioning what's happening and thinking about what's happening, but he doesn't actually seem to be fighting you that hard in this moment.
I think it'd be kind of like this is dangerous, you need to run, kind of like encouraging, like it's like, no, it's your idea, not my idea.
Oh, you're gonna allow him control of the body, and you're gonna just kind of like
I'm commanding him to do that, but he thinks it's like that's his idea.
Okay, I like that a lot. So yeah, you've allowed him control of his own body. You to say this is dangerous, grab the lockbox and jump out. And so I will. Yeah, I'll say go ahead and make that roll. I'm gonna say it's risky for standard effect.
Now we want to push it.
Okay, should take that drain.
Man, +1 risky standard. Let's get it, girl. 6.
There you go. Surprisingly, he does manage to do it just kind of on the crest of like a turn, so that the carriage isn't going too fast, and so he kind of hits the ground and stumbles a little bit. But then he takes a moment and he catches himself and looks around. Shiova's kind of, we can almost see her behind his eyes as she's waiting for her moment to kind of puppet him. But for the time being, his plan is to kind of move up towards Clerk Street. It still seems on foot, but the carriage makes a turn right, drawn by the horses, whereas Shiova, you get the idea that he's thinking that his best bet is to head over to Crow's Foot by crossing the Cinder Bridge.
Okay.
Right. Quick question. With this whole conflict that's going on with Master Crockett and the Hounds and our thugs. Is that one of those? If we do nothing and focus more on the rest of the things, it'll be fine, or will there be like things need to be cleaned up?
Well, I'll say this: if you don't intervene, they are left to defend for themselves, but they're pretty injured. It is possible to kill cohorts in this game.
Let's see.
So no, they will not be fine necessarily. That being said, they're impaired. They can go to broken and then dead. At which point, maybe you just have thug egos. Who knows? No, we will figure it out. But at this point in time, at weakened, they would be rolling 1 die. At impaired, they are rolling with -2 die, which means they're rolling 0 die when they do their actions. So they can attempt to fight back on their own at 0 die, which after this next action of Vase is what they're going to do.
I see. Yeah, so actually, if that's the case, if there's, I'm like, as much as I really should maybe be focusing in on the heist, there is this street brawl that I went through and kicked off and initiated, and it went terribly wrong, and I want to do something to fix that. And actually, it's not going to be they intercepting, but I think this is a great job for Drillbit. So as Drillbit, what I want to do is like, to me, there's this scene of it's, you know, oh my gosh, what's it? Master Crockett with, like, you know, these dogs and these things, and you know, I want to sneak up as Drillbit and attack Master Crockett when he's not suspecting it, in that he is currently attacking all of these people.
Okay.
You know.
So yes, we cut to Master Crockett, who's approaching. His dogs are kind of like holding these men down and shaking them around. He's only got the 2 dogs. The other men are trying to intervene, but the dogs are like very powerful, and they kind of keep pulling people down and stuff like that. But then we cut to, do you mind if I describe something really cool in this moment?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, Drillbit is approaching, like he was in the building, and he actually climbed up to like the 2nd story of the building over on Monument Avenue. And so he jumps across the roof from one building to the other, and he goes to leap down on top of Master Crockett.
Very, very like Assassin's Creed, right? And he's just gonna be there, and he's like, if you want something done right, you must do it yourself. And you know, he goes in, and like the hand kind of pops out with the drills, and he does a few clicks as he switches over the attachments and takes a dive. So this would be, is this risky, desperate?
I'm gonna say that this is risky for standard effect.
All right. I am also going to use overcharge for this. This is one of those I'm going to be, well, yeah. Take 1 drain in order to do a performance of
so this is that's gonna turn it to great effect.
Risky for great effect.
Okay. So you succeed. So, like, what does it look like as you leap down onto Master Crockett? What is, like, your goal? Like, are you gonna throw him? Are you gonna, like, punch him? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and so, you know, right before the jump, you know, you can see there's this glowing, and you can start to hear the wheels within Drillbit start spinning up as it kind of gets faster, and, you know, very much like Ezio is going to be doing, you know, this jump down where he's going to be basically like kind of like punching, but with the punch there is, a drill at the end of it, and so it's just going to be kind of punching the different ligaments, basically. He's noticed that going for the arms worked out very well last time, and so is continuing in on that trend as he tries to bludgeon him.
Yeah, so you do manage to bludgeon him in the arm. You even knock him over with drill bits now on top. But he, behind his mask, he lets out like a shrill whistle. And the Great Dane immediately on the spot lets go of the man that he was attacking, comes over and grabs Drillbit by the neck, and is going to try and pull him off and shake him, and he's like biting through this joint that you have at the neck, like an exposed, like where your jugular would be if you were a human.
Yeah.
And you are going to take only a level 1 harm because you're wearing armor. You can reduce that to no harm by using the armor.
Yeah, this feels like a good armor opportunity. So I will lose a piece of armor.
Yeah. Well, so you don't lose the armor. It's now like it's weaker than it was.
Well, I mean, and in this case, I very much expect it, the dog going and biting at the neck. It just tears off that part of, the outside casing of the neck, leaving it much more exposed.
Yeah, this is a very powerful dog. Like, the dog is almost as big as you are, Drillbit. Yeah, and so he does manage to pull you off, and in the process tears off a piece of your armor. You've taken some damage, but the thugs, I'm gonna roll for them very quickly.
Come on, thugs.
Ooh, unfortunately, I will let you decide as a group. Can either retreat in this moment from the German Shepherd, or they can take additional harm as they try to fight this German Shepherd. And so we'll either remove them from the scene.
I vote they run away.
Yeah, not super useful, these elite thugs. Maybe
I mean, they were before they failed their first roll against a very powerful NPC.
I'm just saying it's elite, and it hasn't felt very elite.
They don't match their namesake.
Feeling a little like a moth in a library right now.
No, we're the elite thugs.
Marv, you promised us elite thugs. Who are these guys? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say the cohort can be trusted to make good decisions and act on their own initiative in the absence of direct orders. They're independent.
They are.
And so I'm going to make them act independently of your orders. And I'm going to have them recognize that they're in a situation where Marv, their leader, is severely injured. Or at least unconscious, because he's not mechanically injured. I'm not going to do that to Adam's character when he's not here. But they take this opportunity to like kick the German Shepherd in the face and pull Marv away from this scene.
Can I just say that like the ending of this scene is like they have like there's like 4 of them, they're carrying Marv, and he's like looking behind like upside down at like the scene. He's like, we gotta kick their asses. Wait.
I was gonna fight that guy.
Take me back.
Yes. Yeah, I will have them pull away from the scene because I feel like they have much more to do. They were more likely to succeed when they're not rolling failures against a man with a name.
He's got names. They don't have names. He has a name.
Stat sheet? No, just a name, which is better than no name, but
that's the rule of NPCs. If I bother to name the NPC, he can probably kick you in the face.
I mean, we did kill a horse with no name, so.
That's true. You did kill a horse with no name. The man riding the horse had a name. He's still looking. He's still looking for that butt. But yes. We will cut back to Albatross. Albatross, like your vision is like red. And your eyes are like bloodshot. I forget, you have a tail. Do you have horns?
Just a double tail.
Okay. The tail, as you walk down the street, you're kind of like leaning against the building. It like runs across a plane of glass, and it actually kind of like scratches the glass, like because it's like so sharp. It has become sharper. Sorry, I don't know how else to describe. But you do see there's this pilot scrambling out of the wreckage of the plane, which is not totally destroyed, but one of the wings has snapped in half. And as she makes eye contact with you, she starts to run down the road. She's heading west, kind of towards where everyone else is actually.
Means run. Hunt's my best roll.
Yep. So you can go ahead and make a hunt roll. Absolutely.
You could prowl too. Make more damage.
I mean, with the rage, no. This is going to be full on, like, you know, things getting knocked down. This isn't subtle at all. Would this be risky for standard? Risky for?
Yeah, I'm gonna say risky for standard.
Oh,
Failure.
I love it. So this is not a failure of Albatross. Albatross is a vicious hunter, and he is fully unleashed in this moment. We see Albatross sprinting down this street, like almost preternaturally fast. But she is very quick as well, but also she seems to just have this preternatural ability to predict where you're going to be. So it's like she almost stops for a second, and as you go to leap at her, she dips out of the way, and then she just opens up a window and slips inside. And just she seems to be one step ahead of you as the two of you kind of dip and dodge your way through these streets until Shiova, Vey, and Drillbit. Well, maybe not Vey, because Vey is kind of up here. But she comes out here. Kind of like it says Reeves Road and Main Street, which is like kind of just south of where that whole fight happened. Yeah. Right around where the wrecked building is that stopped them initially. Or actually on the other side of the wrecked building. Not that I think of it. So she is actually on the correct side. And she goes to turn and run south down Main Street. And what that's going to be is mission failed is going to tick up 3 boxes. So I described a lot of stuff. Mechanically, I just ticked 3 boxes on a thing. So you are 1 desperate fail, or sorry, only 2. That's not a desperate roll. So you are halfway to failing this mission, which again is to capture the Eye of Kotar.
Oh, you son of a bitch! I appreciate. I feel like you must be kind of screaming throughout this thing of like, "There's the relic! There's the relic!"
I mean, I brought it down to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a building between Vey, Drillbit, Shiova, and this individual. And the only person that's actively hunting her is enraged and not operating with the most forethought.
Probably wouldn't be using the communicator for that then. Yeah.
I will say that there's enough wreckage in this that you do see that this woman's there, and she looks frantic and is drawing enough attention to herself that Drillbit might notice that it's off, or even Shiova. I don't know where Vey is, if he's stepped out of the building to kind of witness the scene. Or
Yes,
not.
there's some amount of prowling the roofs right now to jump out at some point when makes sense.
Okay, so I'll say that Vey also sees this. Vey sees that there's one more person that seems to have avoided this trap that you've set. And you see that Drillbit is wrestling and fighting with the two dogs and Master Crockett. I don't think you know where Shiova is, because Shiova is like another individual. And so I'm going to open the floor to both CJ and Ethan to describe who would like to do what in this moment.
So we have the second person who's now going south. Albatross is some amount of hunting behind her, like racing past, but not super defined. Yeah, I'm wondering then if can take this opportunity to do a flashback in order to get a goat carriage of our own that was set up so that Vey, who's been off and to the side, can jump on and begin chase to that person and maybe bump into Albatross on the way down. I don't know. We'll see how that all goes. That's what I've got queued up.
Okay. You have one unspent crew upgrade. So you could actually spend it on the goat carriage right now.
Guys, we're gonna get goats.
If you don't, it will be an acquire asset downtime action as well. So then you would have to spend a coin or a rep to acquire that asset.
Can we do the goats? Do either of you two nay on that one? Nay is positive, by the way.
I say bang.
Yeah.
Some goats.
Goat, the best part about goats is they sound exactly like sheep. But yes. Okay, Ethan. So we spent that. I'm gonna say that to set this up, because you have the goats, they're your goats, they're trained, is only gonna be one stress. And so who's piloting the goats?
I guess, well, I'm like either Danny Deraviso or, well, actually, no, we could do, why don't we do the adept cohort?
Daniel Deraviso. Daniel is one of the adepts, but yeah,
that's
would
fair.
Be, yeah. And so what's their plan? Is they're gonna come out in front of this one?
Yeah, like to me, the plan is that to this, like, on the side street, like, we had this building crash come down, but what Vey had planned out was that, if that had failed and they had made it through, there is this goat carriage set up on the side in order to give chase, basically. And so just kind of the next step of like, okay, plan C is we handle things this way, and have that there so that we can go in and catch up to them.
Okay. I'm gonna very quickly make a fortune roll for them to see how well they do. They are adepts, and so if they do something occulty, they do get an additional die. So that would bump them up to 2 die.
Are we able to,
you can assist them, especially with something like foresight.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So I would, So let's do some assistance. I'm going to give the goats a little bit of steroids in their feed in order to quicken how reactive that they are to things.
Oh my god. It's like Cocaine Bear but with goats. All right, so we're gonna roll 3 die there and take the best. They got a partial success. So they have limited effect in the sense that they are now kind of like keeping pace with this woman, but again, she is able to almost immediately recognize what's happening, because again, she has some sort of ability to see just like moments into the future. And so she is avoiding their grasp as she kind of dips and weaves across this bridge. And that's where we're going to leave them. They're on the bridge. The goat giving chase to this one. We'll say that there's 2 of these weeping ladies who actually seem quite delighted in this moment, riding the carriage.
Having a hard time continuing to weep.
Yes. I'm going to check in with Shiova. Shiova, this man, unless you intervene and stop him, is going to head over towards Crowsfoot. If you're just going to ride along with him.
You know, she's fine with that because she's planning a little bit of a late night snack later.
Okay, absolutely. So, Shiova, you will kind of exit the scene as you ride down this thing. You see when it gets to the Cinder Bridge, he takes a moment to feel his pocket. He pulls out the key for the lockbox and he opens it up. Inside are several documents that outline secret passageways in and out of White Crown, Brightstone, Charterhall, and Six Towers.
Ooh.
Oh, we need those docs.
We're so getting those docs.
Yes, it seems that the Foundation have been laying out several secret passageways inside of buildings that they've been contracted to design and build without telling people how they've been doing it. And so, you have a little bit of insight into that, but Shiova will be stepping out. Is Myri doing anything?
I don't think so. I don't know what she's up to.
I mean, it was the police thing up top, and that was pretty early on with those interactions, right? And then at that point,
she would have had time to make it here if she knew this is where she was going. If you guys were communicating on here,
if we had a central location, that's probably where she would head.
Okay, so Myri is kind of around where Vay and the girl are. Vay, you do realize that there is this like young girl that you don't really know that well, because like as much as you've maybe spoken with Shiova, I don't know how much you've spoken with this girl.
Probably not at all.
Probably just looking out the window at all this chaos, looks back at him running fingers through hair. He's like, Dad, this is certainly something. Is this how it always goes?
I wish I could tell you they go smoother, but if you ain't ready for this, I'll tell you maybe it's best to wait out at the library, because you get a little heated at times.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's pretty cool, that you're living a real, kind of, daring kind of life, I guess. Just more nervously running fingers through hair, kind of looking to the side.
But yes, we will cut back to Albatross as you round the corner. Actually, no, we're gonna go to Drillbit real quick, because Drillbit, you are on top of a man. Basically, you're and the dog is also pulling at you. So like you're fighting a man and a dog at the same time. You kind of feel him fruitlessly kind of pound against your chest, but you are again wearing like you made out of metal, so he's not doing a ton of damage. But this dog threatens to actually start doing damage to your hull, to your chassis.
All right. Well, seeing how Drillbit's attack did not go off quite as seamlessly as the...
Oh, you did a lot of damage to Master Crockett. He's not dead, but you've done damage to him.
That's fair. Not... That's fair. Sorry, yeah. I guess more so of so, you know, Drobit's gonna go and you know, his head kind of raises up. You can see he's just kind of surveying and getting a sense, and you know, seeing two nearby dogs, and you know, this Master Crockett, who he's hurt, but he definitely looks like he can keep fighting. I guess we just gotta keep pushing out more and more, because yeah, things just don't die that easily in this world, which is you know, part of what is so great and what allows people like Drobit to exist, but also is the challenge to deal with. So we're gonna do the so Drobit has this ability called Poltergeist, and so with Poltergeist, it allows me to take one or more drain to strongly interact with the physical world. And so this comes in from being a spirit, and with that, but as far as the dynamics and how Drobit kind of works, unlike Shiova, which is all about going into other bodies, Drobit's kind of mostly stuck within his own. And so how he uses Poltergeist is to basically push out around him an electrical field. And so he's going to basically do this to create a bit of a ring around him in order to, you know, zap the dogs into submission, and to hopefully knock out, if not mostly deal with Master Crockett in his current state.
Okay. So yeah, you're basically discharging electroplasmic energy in like a radius around you. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna say that's 4 stress.
Oh, you think that's 4? Oh,
I think that's 4.
I was thinking
because
2.
it's 1 plus. No, it's 1 plus 1 for every NPC you're taking out.
Oh, I see. The 2 dogs, and you know what? Yeah, no, that's totally fair. We'll take that. And so, yeah, Drobit is going to activate this effect. And so, you know, before, when he's overcharging, there's kind of this, like, you know, light green glow that happens, whereas for this, with overcharge, it's more of this kind of bluish green essence starts kind of crackling outside of the mechanisms that he has, and you know, just like the plate in the different areas that, you know, it starts scrambling more and more as it's kind of builds up, and then eventually there's almost just like a lightning bolt that kind of comes in from the shield itself, and it pops down, and it hits Drobit, and in that moment it just kind of shoots out into this circle around that kind of like shoots around and then pops back into Drobit, and yeah, it's just the tons of pain and suffering and all of that.
Yes.
I guess I have to roll.
You do. So, what thing do you think you're rolling for that?
Well,
where's Drobit? There he is. I could see that being in the 2. I could see that being. I could almost see that being a tinker.
Yeah, I think I'll do a tune. I think with how I kind of really laid on into the ghost field and having that effect. Yeah, so that's
okay. I'm willing to offer you a devil's bargain.
What's the devil's bargain?
The devil's bargain is that there will be a fault in the design. Like basically, you are more likely or one step closer to your chassis falling apart.
Oh.
And so what that's going to work is it's a permanent level 2 harm until you have a clock filled out. That's going to be different than a typical mend or healing.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, we'll take that. That's Drobit's already a little clunky every once in a while. We'll take whatever this is.
Yeah. So you can go ahead and describe what that is whenever you think of it. But at this point in time, go ahead and give me that roll, and let's see what happens to them. Let's not worry about what happens to Drillbit.
Yeah, so...
Give yourself an additional die for that. If you want to push yourself, you can.
I feel like doing all that stuff was hopefully enough. Is this risky for great effect?
This is desperate for great effect.
Oh, desperate.
Oh. So give yourself some XP.
I will do that. After we see how this all lands.
Oh.
Okay, so it's a partial success. I'm gonna say, because it's for great effect, that it does work. Like you shock these dogs, and like immediately, like the aggression goes out of them. The fear from releasing, like being in the presence of a spirit, is enough to cow them completely. Both of them like immediately yelp, and they back away. Master Crockett, because you were like right on top of him, actually like almost like his heart stops beating for a moment. We'll say that in this moment, like the electricity runs through. He's wearing like a metal mask, and it like falls off in the process of this, like almost like an electrical thing just launches it off of his face, and you see that he is like a very plain looking man.
That's the reveal.
The reveal is that this could have been anyone, and it's just like, but like, just, you know, like like he's not a scary person when he's not wearing the mask. And I don't know, I think it's important as like a world building thing. This is a scary world where even average men are terrifying. And that's all I'm really trying to say with that. But yes, you do see Master Crockett's plain, unremarkable face. But he does go unconscious. There's a moment where like you can sense, like, because you're kind of right in the ghost field, you sense that he's died. But then as like the power draws back in, his heart does start beating very loud. And so you have not killed him. But the dogs seem to have lost their fight. They're standing and they're watching like their master. Drillbit is there. The man is unconscious. The other thing is that you're going to take a second level harm.
Second level harm.
Yeah, because you take one because you took the devil's bargain, and that one is going to be called cracked chassis. You're going to take another one, which we're going to call unstable. The electrical energies that just poured through you because you got struck by lightning have made like the hull itself, like the number one fear that Drillbit has is that he will leave his chassis and become feral. You are one step closer to that.
To the edge. You're about to break.
Yes. What that means is that if you take another level 2 harm, it automatically becomes a level 3 harm until you get those resolved.
Yes, it's you should not have gotten out of bed this morning, and is gonna kind of slink off into the dark. And as he's walking, every few steps, there's a bit of a jolt, and the cadence of the steps is off, which is quite odd considering usually it's very mechanical as far as how he walks. So, feeling the pain.
Absolutely. I'm surprised he's not continuing with the score, but that's okay. Albatross, you round the corner, you see that there's this carriage, and you see that there's this woman running, and she's managing to dip and dive and like kind of keep one step ahead of them, even though she's on foot. I'm gonna say that you are still sprinting towards them. You can go ahead and make a roll. But I'm gonna set the risk to desperate, and I'll base the effect off of what you're rolling. and it'd be desperate because you have multiple people that you may be closest to when you finally decide to strike.
And the who's in the general vicinity? It's the two weeping ladies and her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm eliminating the choice of whether or not you go.
He's going, right?
He's going.
He's going to use terrible power and take the 2 stress to perform a feat of superhuman strength or speed. They run faster than a carriage.
Yep. You do. You outpace the carriage. You outpace this woman. We kind of slip into her perspective for a moment. She can see that you're gonna come, but as she watches these lines converge, she knows that there's only a very, very slim chance that she's going to be able to outpace you or escape you this time. As you tap into something deep and dark within yourself.
And I'm gonna do skirmish. You said risky for.
It's desperate. For I'm gonna say it's for standard effective for skirmish.
Okay.
It's just if you fail, something bad will happen.
Success.
Oh,
that's a lot of 6s this session.
In this moment, you go to outpace the thing, and you look at the weeping ladies, and they just look like that is enough to make you angry. You think about attacking them, but you remember that you do have a problem with this other woman, and you decide to leap at her first. So you do manage to pin her down. Go ahead and describe how you do that.
Okay. Albatross is what he's gonna do is he's gonna get into kind of like a leap position and just in one foul swoop dashes at lightning speed towards this woman. And all the through her vision, all those possibilities, they break down to none, and Albatross is now in her face. He will grab his mechanical arm, slam it into her side, and halt his full momentum with his 1 foot, and then immediately grab her arm with the mechanical arm and pin her down to the ground. So it's dash, swipe to the side, stop momentum, and fully grab her and bring her down. So it's like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So she's got a gaping wound on her side as you pin her to the ground. You look into her eyes. She's got one hazel eye in her right eye socket, and then their left is like that emerald green solid figure, and it twirls around, and it's fully black with a white pupil. And it seems to be looking in a different direction than her other eye. It seems to be looking around to find like an escape.
I think we need to get that hazel eye.
Scoop that out. Add that to the list of treasure.
The rarest of eye colors in Duskfall.
In this moment, you have succeeded. You are welcome to take her eye if you want. She probably won't survive.
Let's make it easier for her because I want answers. But given that he's still enraged, is anybody going to do anything to respond to him forcefully taking the eye prior?
Well, and so I was going to jump in and be like, we have the weeping women right here who are the surgeons. I would like them to do any of those types of actions.
Yes, but the rage is still ongoing.
The enraging is there.
Okay. Go ahead, Ethan.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So having caught up to them and seeing Albatross in this rage, they will he'll put his hand onto Albatross's shoulder, and with the water talk as far as like the mental energy, they will push very strongly taking a stress in order to reach out to Albatross and to calm him down so that we can get a prize and get out of here without any more bloodshed.
Okay.
May was with them?
I'll have you make a roll there, Faye. It's going to be controlled for standard effect, depending on what you roll. But like, it's not a super risky thing. I do want you to make a roll.
Okay. I will consort because I'm going to socialize with a friend. If that lines up. Or do you think it should be sword?
Yeah.
You got a friend in me. Literally and figuratively.
You're gonna try and charm him. I'll take a consort. Yeah. Okay. It's in this moment. It does work. You pull away. There's a moment where when you look into his eyes, you see that like your heartbeat like is like something like 90 million or I think it was like 75 million I gave you originally. It goes from like 60 million to like 3 and then immediately jumps back up.
Oh, well, that's new.
Oh.
Yes. The complication in this case is you realize that number is not constant.
Mm-hmm. That very complicates things.
Just as you realize that he was about to kill you before you managed to reach out. And Albatross, in this moment, the rage essence, like, it's not that it's gone away or that you're not enraged. It's more like you are getting enough control that even though you're pissed off and might want to throw a chair, you're less likely to murder someone in the street or murder a close friend. It is starting to wane off.
And immediately in response, before anything else could happen, Albatross is going to take a vial of the sleeping powder or the sleeping solution.
Yep.
And just inject it into her neck, and then collapse next to her.
Love it. The weeping ladies do see what Albatross was doing, and they pick her up and load her onto the carriage. Presumably, you guys go back to the library to perform surgery. We will pick up on what the narrative of what happens there when we return next week. We're coming towards the end of our session, but before we do, let's talk about the fun part.
I want to say Shiova would wait and tell the guy because she's still possessing the guy and wants to get the documents, so she was gonna try to do the life essence suck when he was in a shady corner kind of alleyway.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you don't have to do that on downtime. You just have to do it. Go ahead and give me a hunt roll, or actually in this case, I'm going to have it be probably a finesse or a prowl to see if you can do it without being seen.
Okay. Risky standard?
Yes. Yeah.
4.
Okay. Complication. You have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. Yeah. There's a moment when you're doing this. The man does not like he almost kind of stops and he starts thinking really hard while you're eating him or eating his life essence, and he kind of reaches out and he begins to recognize aspects about who Shiova is, and it's while you're trying to feed off of him, he's feeding off of your past and is learning about who you are and maybe even who you associate with. That will come up during heat, unless you would like to resist that consequence.
That defeats the point.
Depends how you roll.
I don't trust myself.
Does resist happen before or after the drain effect?
I believe in the you that
after.
believes in.
So she does clear half of her stress, or her drain in this case, because she's a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's there. Yeah, it's worse.
And then, yeah. And then you have the option to resist. Otherwise, you will have at least one person who knows who Shiova is out in the world. If it helps,
we all
he's
have
not,
enemies out in the world.
He's not even really that mad about it. Like, because you're kind of like in this spot where like you're almost two minds in one. He seems more curious than anything.
She hasn't stolen the documents yet, so he might get mad about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
oddly enough, he does not seem like concerned or angry that you're eating him.
Okay. Sure, I guess we'll let it be.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, go ahead and keep that. And then we will go to, I believe it's downtime rules. I have it at top of payoff. This is the fun part, guys. You earn 2 rep by default. And then you will also gain 3 additional rep because this was a tier 4 score. Actually, tier 5, so 4 more. But either way, I'm pretty sure you guys are full up on rep.
Yeah.
You earn coin based on the nature of the operation and any loot they seized. Between the lockbox containing documents, aka information about secret passageways built throughout the city throughout the many years that Duskfall has been being relied on the Foundation. Between parts that you might be able to scavenge from the plane, as well as that revolver, which you can choose to sell or not. I'm going to say that revolver is worth 4 coin on its own.
Oh.
So you can choose to keep it or you can sell it for 4 coin. But for the rest of it, I am going to say that is 10 coin.
Oh.
Because even if you keep the documents for yourself, the information itself is incredibly valuable.
I'm going to say this off the bat. Marv gets none of that. He was no help at all.
Albatross is going to have a lot of interest in those documents for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't believe we didn't use the railgun.
There was no ghosts to fight.
No ghosts. The ghosts were on our side.
That's fair.
So, like,
that's fair.
you attacked, like, the most anti-ghost people in the city. Like, none of them like ghosts at all.
Oh, yeah, they are the scientists. That's fair.
Record the coin on the crew sheet or divvy it up amongst the crew. So, very quickly, I am going to just make sure that we know how much coin we have. So, you guys have 8 coin once I fill up your coins in vault. For you to distribute amongst yourselves. And so you guys can do that whenever you feel like. Sorry.
Okay, what all characters were on there?
That's
I
think we just throw down that we have 8 extra coin because I imagine off time we might talk a little bit about because we're max rep and that stuff about what the upping the crew again, and so we can figure that stuff out off line.
The city is full of prying eyes and informants. Anything you do might be witnessed, and there's always evidence left behind.
For our
what are we thinking? Well, and I'll show this to you guys. So you can go right down to heat there. It says contained in standard exposure would be 2 heat. Loud and chaotic high exposure would be 4 heat. Wild, devastating exposure would be 6. Where are we thinking that we lied here? I mean, there was a plane crash. There was spirits going absolutely apeshit in the Sparkrite Tower in Charterhall. There's an unconscious man laying in the street on his way to go catch the police. There is a building that got blown or like knocked over after a night spent sabotaging it.
Well, the building, that's aftermath from the previous, because so I know you're about to go, hey, this was loud and chaotic, but I would like to point out that there was a huge fire that happened in this Sparkrite district. How many days ago? Less like a week ago, right?
Yeah, probably a week ago, I'll say.
So I want to say it's a little more contained than the big, crazy, big, devastating thing that you were about to say.
I was about to say wild, devastating exposure. You're advocating for only 4 heat thing.
Yes.
You know what, Ethan? I'll be nice. I'll give it to you. And then I'm immediately going to add 1 heat for a high profile or well-connected target.
Yeah.
You have kidnapped another professor from Charterhall District.
Recruited. We have recruited another professor.
It's all about perspective.
And then I'm going to add 2 heat if killing was involved. Albatross killed a man in the street.
That he did.
So,
he did.
Not by choice, but
3 wanted level.
Sure do. It sure do.
Yo, I can't wait for Adam to come back.
No worries, guys. We're gonna end the night there on one last roll.
Uh-oh.
But I have time to think about it.
Entanglement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to my entanglements generator. Did you guys add your wanted level? That's what I want to know.
Let me. There it is.
So we got 4, which is gonna bring you to 3. And then we have 3 more. And then we're going to execute the match. Cooperation. A +3 status faction asks you for a favor. Agree to do it or forfeit 1 rep per tier of the friendly faction or lose 1 status with them.
What's the...
If you don't have a +3 faction status, you avoid entanglements right now. You guys are very lucky.
Wait, no, really?
Really?
Oh.
No one likes you that much.
We don't have friends. Wow,
That's
because
so
we don't
funny.
have friends, we don't have any problems.
That's how it goes, right? No friends, no problems. That's the saying.
That's right. That's what friends are for, causing problems.
Wow, we have like no allies. That's maybe another problem. I think we need to kind of
Maybe we
start
should look into
focusing
that.
on.
Maybe we should think about
I mean,
that.
do we have to? Like, so far it's working out for us just fine.
3 wanted level.
Yeah. Looking at your faction status here, you do have more enemies than friends. Lord Skurlock is a +2. The Dockers are a +2. But yeah, you don't have any friends and you got quite a few enemies. Speaking of which, I'm very quickly going to move some stuff around here. You guys have taken a -2 status with the Sparkrites.
Right?
I'm making more enemies as we do.
You have taken a +1 with the Foundation.
Oh.
You will take an additional -1, bringing you to neutral with the Circle of Flames. And where are those Sparkrites? There they are.
Wait, why would we take a -1 with the Circle of Flames?
Because you keep fucking with them. You've been toying with them.
They were like, hey, where's our shit? And we're like, oh.
We're
Thanks for the info you gave us. We're not going to do anything with it.
Oh, that's fair. It's hard to hold.
It is one of those
favor.
things where they were upset that you took as long as you have, given that they helped you out as much as they did when you guys first established. And now, in the aftermath of this, in the weeks coming up, there is no denying that they know you have at least one of them.
Yeah.
And so that will go up very quickly if you give them the item. But very, very quickly before we end the session, I want to describe something to you. As you and Myri, and of course Albatross is there, and the Weeping Ladies are there, it doesn't seem to affect them nearly as much. But as you gaze upon her eye, like when you see her unconscious in the cart, or maybe even this doesn't happen until you're back there and you're maybe witnessing the surgery, there's a moment where Myri and Vey, you just being in proximity to this eye, can see where people are going to move before they get there.
Oh.
And it is one of those things where, like you guys look at each other and you two don't seem to be affected by this, but you see Albatross, there's like a million different paths that he's about to take, and then one of them just seems like the one. And it's like just then a moment later, he walks over towards a bookshelf. And the same with the Weeping Lady, same with Daniel Daravizo. It's just even being in proximity to this, you do have like just like a slight split second head start on everyone else around you.
Now, if that ain't a good luck charm, I can't tell you what is.
But yes, we do fade to black as the two of you kind of make eye contact almost knowingly. And we see that the ladies have taken a moment to begin carefully extracting this woman's eye as she lies unconscious on one of the library tables. And we will return next week on Sins and Consequences. Yeah,
Say
I
it.
guess that's...
Say it.
Y'all, what I gotta say?
Say it.
I gotta say, nighty night. Toodaloo.